And proceed with your testimony.
My name is Melissa Rice, and I'm representing the First Responders Symposium of Philadelphia. A few years ago, I was asked to put together and speak at a symposium for first responders, and I asked the question, why me? I've been a mental health advocate for years, but I have never been a first responder, so how could I relate to these people? When I started organizing it and meeting with these speakers on Zoom, I could just feel their stories, their pain of losing loved ones, of struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder. And I knew there was a reason I was here. I knew that although I couldn't experience what they went through on the job, we all had mental health. We all had things going on. And if we could start the conversation and talk about mental health issues and bring this awareness about, it's very important. But we have to focus on those left behind who are lost to suicide, those family members. Particularly, I meet Regan, whose husband was a Philadelphia police officer, died by suicide, leaving 2-month-old twins at home. Her health care was being cut off, funeral expenses, and she's meant to deal with that, but all the grief she's facing. I've heard this twice already. We're very lucky it's a low number. Do you know why it's a low number? Because it's not in uniform, it's at home. Also, if you have addiction or overdose, suicide and overdose statistics are not accurate because they will label them as an overdose or a suicide when it could have been either or. So we don't even know the exact numbers of this. If you look at the stats, 13.5 out of 100,000 people represent the general population that will die by suicide. 18 or 19 of first responders out of 100,000 represent that. It may not seem like a big jump, but going from 13 to 18 because of the high stress pressures of this job and going from one scene to the next scene to the next scene without being able to cope with what happened, if I was in a traumatic situation, I would have time to back off and cope. They are literally risking their lives every day, going into scene, and not being able to cope with these things. And you want to talk about prevention? Trust me, there's a lot of prevention. This man sitting next to me, peer support, employee assistance. I have sat in with his firefighters and done workshops with him. I've done workshop with the Philadelphia Police Department, who just started their peer support program with Sergeant Janine Brown. So there is prevention happening. I don't want to hear that. There are conferences, there are symposiums, there is awareness. But when someone is struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder or mental illness, you look at my life's perfect. You think at 15, playing sports, having a great life with family, I thought I was going to attempt to end my life? No. Why? Because I'm struggling so much, and I